This is as real as it gets. Are you in control of your stress and anxiety, or is your stress and anxiety in control of you? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Painted Lines. I am your host, Keith Datu. And if you are watching, you can probably hear it through the audio as well. I am using a new microphone, this little thing right here. And on today's episode, I want to share how I personally combat stress and anxiety. What I want to share is how to manage when those negative feelings, that negative energy feels like it's consuming you. Intrusive thoughts, restlessness. I've been going through it lately in a lot of different ways. Maybe too personal to share on the pod. I do want to share how I manage, how I grow, how I continue to self develop, even when there are struggles of mental health and other things holding me back. Really quick, let me just get this out of the way. Good examples of stress or good examples of anxiety, right? Me being anxious about a game tomorrow, for example. I don't have a game tomorrow, but if I had a game tomorrow, me being anxious about the game tomorrow, me wanting to do well, as long as I'm not restless, being overconsumed, that little bit of anxiety is good because it means that I want to do well. It means that I want to do my best and perform. But that kind of anxiety is not what I'm referring to here. Without sharing too much, I am I'm struggling with the things that I've shared on other episodes. I'm struggling with the things that I know help me. I'm struggling with quality sleep, going to bed early, because I have to wake up early regardless. And although I'm eating right, I'm eating out a lot right now. And that's not part of who I am in my regimen. I enjoy eating out for sure. But I want to be in control of what I'm putting into my body at all times. And so I've slacked on my meal preps. I've slacked on the way that I recover. And all that trickles down to the way that I've been handling my emotions, handling my mindset, and overall handling the way that I respond to anxiety and stress. Sometimes it feels like those things aren't fair. It's not fair that someone has to go through those things. And you might ask, like, oh, Keith, what are you stressed out about? What are you anxious about? We can have some personal conversations if you want. But for the purpose of this pod, I'll briefly share just some things that I'm going through, just surface level, and then just ways that I'm working to get around that. I'm currently sitting on the bench for my team because I have a partial tear in my MCL. And being out with an injury, whether it's big or small, and I'm out for weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, which is pretty much most of my conference. It's affecting me in a lot of ways because my focus is 100% my career, my sport, right? Getting healthy, rehabbing, focusing on my body. Absolutely. But what do you do when you can't focus on your job? What do you do when you can't focus on things that you enjoy doing? All right. And on top of being injured, other things that are stressing me out are things going on in my personal life. And it's about how you can channel that stress and negative energy. Obviously, it's easier said than done. It's easier to talk your way through it. It's easy for me to talk my way through this while the camera's rolling, right? What you guys don't see are the nights where I'm alone. The nights sometimes I use my resources, Zoom therapy, talking to friends and family over the phone, hanging out with my friends and family here in the Philippines, exercising, even if it looks different while I'm out with an MCL. What's also hard for me when I'm anxious and restless is that I struggle hard with focusing. I'm so distracted on what's bothering me, I can't focus on the things that I need to get done. Hence, this long hiatus before this episode finally drops. And I'm using different equipment and it's a different scene for you guys today. How do you persevere when things go wrong? How do you keep powering through, even if it looks different, just like this episode today? It takes a lot of practice, right? But we can control what we put on ourselves. I committed to posting episodes weekly or bi weekly, and it's been 6 to 8 weeks since I've dropped another episode. And I'm upset that I was not in control. By me trying to regain control, I lost control of my mental health. And so, in order to stay in control, sometimes you have to let go. Sometimes you have to let life be. Sometimes you have to let life work out the way it does. You can't control other people, you can't control their emotions. That's free will, right? Accidents happen too. You can't control injuries, but you can control you. You can control how you respond. And trust me, I know it's difficult and it's hard. Sometimes I know exactly why I'm having an anxiety attack. I know exactly the thoughts triggering it. Sometimes I even know what to do to get rid of it. Sometimes I don't know why I'm having anxiety. Sometimes I don't know why my heart's beating fast, why I'm restless, why I'm so exhausted from having 3 workouts today and it's 11 p.m. and I get in bed and I can't fall asleep no matter how exhausted I am because I'm so restless and I can't shut my mind off and my heart is palpitating. I'm sweating, rolling over looking at the clock. This is 12, 1, 2. Last week it's at 3:47. I was so frustrated because I was so tired. Mental exhaustion is real. Mentally burning yourself out is going to affect your physical capabilities 100%. How am I supposed to perform? How am I supposed to recover and heal when I'm not sleeping, when I'm not taking care of my body in that way, no matter how hard I try? Sometimes it feels like God doesn't tell me why things happen or how things are going to play out, right? It's like, how can we keep showing up every day, fighting the same battles? And it sucks that it has to be that way. Persistence is the only way through it, to be honest. There's no magic switch. It's not like you just sleep on it and you're all better. You got to be proactive every single day. And it's hard, I know. What we worry about is where we trust God the least. And I'm not going to lie, I stole that quote off Instagram. But I'm going to say it again, anyways. What we worry about the most often shows where we trust God the least. I've been seeing that in my personal life. I've been seeing that with my injuries. I've been seeing that with relationships and sometimes you just got to let go. And it's scary to let go. And it's scary to know like if you are going to be okay, if you're going to get through whatever you're going through. But I promise you will one way or another. And it's hard because how are we supposed to have faith in what hasn't happened yet, in the unseen, right? But I guess maybe that's the definition of faith, of having faith. And I don't wish stress and anxiety upon anybody. I really don't. But to be honest, to be honest, I wish I didn't go through it, right? Stress and anxiety have shaped me in the most hurtful yet beautiful ways I could possibly imagine. Made me a better human and individual. It's allowed me to come closer to God. It's allowed me to develop relationships, go through experiences, help others. So even though you're going through a bad time, how can you use this bad time to progress forward and help others too? Pretty much the point of this episode. I feel like I need to do a better job of getting my point across sometimes, but not managing your stress and anxiety, it's like I should probably do some research on this, but it feels like it's shortening my life sometimes. Your body shouldn't be going under this much stress and shock, and oftentimes like I find myself in denial. I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. I don't tell anyone, or if I do tell someone, or if they just notice without me saying, I'm just like, no, I'm good. I'm good. In the end, that doesn't do me any service, though. It does me a huge disservice. Obviously, read the room, but sometimes you just gotta accept it. When I do find myself accepting the moment that I'm going through something, it turns out a lot easier for me. Instead of fighting it, I kind of just let it happen and kind of face it head on. I'm just like, okay, anxiety tag, do your worst. Guess what? I win every time. I win every time. I'll share some things that I do to combat my stress and anxiety. And it's tough, because your mental definitely takes a toll on your physical. It affects your performance and your ADLs, your activities of daily living. All right, so here are some things that help me. Number one, absolutely, sleep. Sleep. And I know I just said sometimes I go to bed early and I'm like tossing and turning until 3:47. Go lay down, go sleep. If you can't sleep, pray. You check the clock, another hour passed, pray again. Take some melatonin, drink some water. I'm serious. Turn off the lights, get off your phone, turn the TV off. Just shut it down. And with that, I would say breathe. Look up some breathing exercises. I forgot the what it's called, but lay on your back, breathe from your diaphragm. Maybe I should post some links down in the comments or the description of this video. Breathe. Focus on breathing. Focus on your breaths. Notice where your thoughts take you, and then try to clear them out, or focus on positive things or things that make you happy. Or if it's the middle of the day and you can't sleep, do things that make you happy. And if those things, which is what I'm going through right now, if those things aren't hitting the same, the things that make you happy, the things that you enjoy, do something new. Try something new. Force yourself to do something you don't want to do, even if it's chores. I had anxiety. I had anxiety earlier today. You know what I did? I did the dishes. I cleaned the kitchen. And you know what? I felt a hell of a lot better afterwards. Next thing, exercise, right? Even with me being injured, there's a million ways you can exercise, get a sweat going. Honestly, you can do that at home. You can go outside, go on a walk. Walks are literally my one of my favorite things to do, with or without headphones. And it's just an amazing way to be proactive and you can be productive. And if you need to, like if it's not too noisy, you can do meetings while you walk, depending on scenario. Listen to audiobooks, listen to music, jot down ideas while you walk, or just keep the headphones off and just enjoy nature. Take your shoes off and go ground. The next thing, communication. Communication is key. And I get it. You don't want to tell the world, unlike what I'm doing right now. You don't want to tell the world that you're going through things, but you need a tight knit circle, family, friends, whoever you trust, a safe space. Sometimes you just need to vent. Sometimes you want to hear from them. But I highly suggest that you have a safe space to outlet your thoughts, emotions, and get feedback as well. I see a therapist. I'm on Zoom with my therapist back in the US. And I see her once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks, whatever. It's what I do. And I'm not ashamed of that. Use the pain that you're going through to do hard things. Do things that are uncomfortable. I just said have conversations. Sometimes those conversations are hard. Sometimes you got to power through it and do it. Sometimes you don't feel like journaling, or maybe you don't want to write things down. Maybe you can journal through camera or audio. Sit down and journal. Let it out, because the more you keep it in, it's just clouding your head up here, and you can't focus, you can't do anything if it's at the front of your mind all the time. Let it out, let it go. And then if you need to come back to it, read what you wrote later, watch yourself, and you can see the growth that you make over time as well. Other hard things that I do when I'm experiencing a lot of pain is doing uncomfortable things like cold showers or doing a cold plunge, right? An ice bath. If you don't like running, go on a run. If you don't like lifting weights, go lift some weights. Think about things you don't like to do that are productive. Don't just do nonsense, but like use the pain to do hard things. Because for me, I know that nothing is harder than not having clarity, not having a clear mind. Emotional restlessness hurts me more than physical pain of running to exhaustion or getting a sports massage. I know that sounds crazy, but those things kill me sometimes. And another thing that I do that's actually not talked about too often is EFT tapping. It stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, I think. I don't have this in my notes or anything. This is coming off top. Look up EFT tapping. And I think there's like 10 or 12 points. I don't think I use all 10 or 12 points, but it's this act of tapping on certain places on your body and trying to release the emotions and stress that you're going through. It doesn't work for me every time, but it's actually something that I've tried and that I actually like doing, and it works for me. Maybe it's placebo or not, but if it works, it works. Let me tell you a quick story. One time back in Burbank, California, I am driving, and it's 2021, I think. It's either 2020 or 2021. I'm driving past Chick-fil-A on Olive and Alameda. I'm stopped at the light and there's a car in front of me. And the car is not tinted. It's a little bit older, jankier car. I can see the driver and I think he's in the car alone. I can't forget this story because I remember watching what the driver was doing, and he was doing EFT tapping. I saw him literally EFT tapping. I literally sat there at the red light and I prayed for him. And I was like, I know exactly what that feels like. And driving, it's tough, absolutely tough. I feel for everyone going through these things, and sometimes we over exaggerate on what's anxiety to us, what stress that we're going through. But reality is, it's real to you. It's real pain to you. It's not okay to use mental health as an excuse to skip work when it's just something minor. Some people really be going through things. And I just want to let you know that it's okay and that you're not alone and that we are with you and that other people are experiencing the same things that you are. Another thing that I stole from Instagram is that the words fear not are in the Bible 365 times. And I should probably actually fact check that. Fear not is in the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. Fear not. God's got you. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're scared of happening, whatever you're grieving and trying to cope with, fear not. God got you. How can you remind yourself to have some peace? Give yourself some credit. Give yourself a break. For me, I feel like I have to always set an example and not necessarily be extraordinary. We're all human. I notice that sometimes people look up to me because, well, because I'm tall, right? Stupid joke. People look up to me not just because I'm tall, because of who I am and what I bring to the table. The examples that I set, talking about God, trying to be a leader on and off the court, being a PBA player here in the Philippines. Whatever you're going through, it's okay. And sometimes I need to remind myself of all the hard things that I have to deal with and how far I've come and how much I'm still progressing in my journey in writing my story. My overall goal for what I'm doing in front of the camera right now, being vulnerable, is to help y'all. Is to hopefully connect with somebody, help somebody. Even if I post 1,000 episodes and I only help one soul, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm doing it for. I feel like God has called me for more, especially lately, especially since I've been praying. I forgot one more thing that's been helping me. Reading the Bible. To some people, even other Christians, like that shouldn't sound like a crazy thing to do. Read the Bible. Sometimes it's like, I don't know where to start. I can't understand. Get a different translation if you need to. Look up where to start. Ask a pastor. Find a community. You can ask me even. I haven't read through the whole thing yet, but I will. I can give you some recommendations on where I've started, where I've been, what I think could help you with what you're going through. Don't be afraid to reach out if you're not. I'm a little nervous to post episodes like this because, one, I'm chilling in the privacy of my home talking about my mental health journeys, and I'm not oversharing. I'm doing that on purpose today, but I'm here on camera letting you know that I understand and that I've been hurt by these same struggles. I am proactive every day on improving my life. And you don't see that with people when they are on camera, on the court, or in a group setting. You don't see it when they're doing an interview with smiles on their face. We're all human. And I hope that you can work on your self-care. Love yourself. Grind it out. Life's a journey. Continue to enjoy the process. Sometimes we're so focused on the outcome, just forget about it. What does the outcome mean to you if you kill yourself along the way? It's not worth it. So trust God. Everything will be all right. All right, enough of me ranting. But on a serious note, if there's something that I can help you with, I don't have all the answers. I'm telling you right now, I don't. But maybe I can point you in the right direction and connect with you on a deeper level. Don't be afraid to reach out. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Painted Lines. I'm your host, Keith Datu, and God loves you.